and welcome back to the Quality Connect YouTube channel. I'm Trevor and this is Andrew, the founder of Quality Connect. Thanks for coming in again today,
My
Andrew.
pleasure.
Today we're going to be talking about how to manage the homeowner. Now, here's a quote from Ross Perot. I don't know if you remember him from a few years ago in the presidential campaigns, but spend a lot of time talking to customers face to face. You'd be amazed how many companies don't listen to their customers, and that is so true. Now, here's a quick stat for you. The average cost overrun due to change orders is shown to be between 11 and 15% of the original contract value in large building construction, while the average schedule overrun is shown to be between 10 and 20% of the original project duration. So we know that time is money, right?
Yes.
What would you say about that, Andrew?
Yeah, change orders slow down construction usually. That's why building a pre-sold home usually takes a lot longer than building a spec home. Building a spec home, you've got everything picked out. Nobody changes anything. Trades can just fly through, do their work, and be on their way. You get a change order, slows down. You might have to order different products, bring trades back, push other trades off their original schedule, which causes lulls and delays in your construction. And yeah, that's those numbers are definitely very accurate, in my opinion.
Right on. So now we know that in home construction, it's usually the owner who is asking for those change orders, and maybe you could share with us a little bit about that. But customer's always right?
Yes. The customer's always right as to how they go about their solution, and how they go about their opinion is sometimes not correct for the industry.
Right.
But if you're building a home for a customer, they're in this economy, in this environment, and with land value as it is, they're probably spending $500,000 and up. So if you're spending $500,000, you should get your way. My opinion. I don't think that's a lot of money to be throwing around to not get exactly what you want. But as for managing the homeowners, that's where the real skill comes in, because you're working with someone that is in a position of power. It is technically your boss, your customer, so you have to appease them. You can't order them to do what they need to do, because they're the ones cutting the check. So you have to tiptoe a little bit when managing homeowners.
So is managing a homeowner easier or harder than managing a trade?
I would say harder, in my opinion. When managing a trade, usually they have a little bit more experience. You'd hope they'd have a little bit more experience in the home building industry. And you can explain what they need to do, why they need to do it. It's in their contract. They're getting paid to do it. You can reason/force them to do what you need to do. Whereas when you're managing a homeowner, a lot of the times they don't see what needs to be done. They're not in that industry. They don't understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
They saw it different on a TV show, so they want it done that way.
Guys, I saw it on a show that it should look like this. You should do it this way.
Yeah, or how come they're doing it this way on the show? And I'm like, well, they're building in California. The frost level isn't that low in California. There's a lot of different things, and the internet is a great resource for research, and it's also absolutely horrible to deal with as a builder, because you get a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, kind of like when someone goes on WebMD to diagnose themselves and go into the doctor and tell them what's wrong with them, right?
Yes, they have Ebola, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about some large volume builders allow homeowners to do walkthroughs like 3 times. Is that a good thing to do as a small builder?
I absolutely no. As a smaller builder, you have to set yourself apart from the larger builders. Okay. You have to do things different. You have to offer that one-on-one personal connection with the customer, that personal service. If the customer didn't want that or didn't feel it was of any value, they would have gone with the larger builder. They wouldn't be talking with you.
Right. So you have to interact more with the client, not just 3 times.
Well, yeah, and it goes back to the, maybe I'm just looking at the numbers, but $500,000, you only get to see it 3 times. Are you kidding?
Right.
that would drive me personally nuts. But it is a good practice to follow to limit the number of times they can visit the job site and at what stages. So
right. Yeah. Cool. Now, when should a homeowner be allowed to walk through a job site? Definitely
when it's safe. A lot of homeowners want to walk through at framing stage, and you know what? It's not safe. There's sometimes like the framer should have railings and everything set up, but people working at different heights. I know you come in with a hard hat, and I know you've got your reflective vest and your steel toes, and the homeowners come walking through. But you know what? If there's a crew working above you, with a 700-pound beam, that shiny hard hat's definitely got a good rating, but it's not helping you.
Yeah,
you should not be standing underneath those people. If there's a crane overhead and stuff like that, there's certain stages when nobody should be on the job site. I don't care who you are. Same thing working underneath roofers.
Yeah.
Things fall off the roof, bundles of shingles. You catch one of those in the head or the shoulder, and it doesn't matter what kind of protective gear you're wearing. You're in a lot of pain, if not dead. So
exactly.
You should definitely limit when you can have homeowners walk through. I've had a homeowner walk through at tiling stage.
Oh no.
Yeah, wet tile is not something you should walk on. It's completely safe, but we ended up having to tear all the tile out.
Oh man.
So there's stages when homeowners can walk through, and there's stages when they should not.
Now, what are the negative connotations that arise from having a homeowner walk through unsupervised?
No matter how well you lock up your home, a determined homeowner will get in. You lend them a construction key, they'll go get it cut. And then they've got access to that house full time.
Sneaky homeowners.
Yeah, it happens more than you'd think, but it's not a shock. And they feel entitled as they're paying the bill. But it is your home until you turn it over to the homeowner. So you need to set some guidelines and some boundaries. But the negative connotations to having a homeowner walk through, well, other than, the tile is fresh and needs to set, and safety concerns, a lot of homeowners won't really understand what they're looking at, depending on the homeowner and depending on what their knowledge is and their, tendency to jump to conclusions.
Right.
You can get a very unhappy homeowner in the morning if they went through the night before wondering, what is this, what is this, what is this?
Yeah. So now, do you allow the homeowner to make change orders with the different sub-trades on their own?
No, definitely not. For the same reason you don't allow trades to make changes on their own. There's a lot of trades, there's a lot of steps that go into building a home. And, as knowledgeable as that electrician is and as smart as he is, he doesn't know what's going on with the rest of the build. So for him to make a change that makes his life easier or that's recommended by the homeowner, might mess up things down the way. Why do we have a switch inside of a mirror? That looks horrible. Well, the homeowner wanted a switch there, and the electrician said, sure, no problem. And then when you come around to put the mirror in, there's a switch in the way. And it's of no fault of the electrician, and the homeowner wasn't aware, and you run into issues like that, telling the framer you don't want the wall there, you don't want a bulkhead there. Well, it's there so that you can run plumbing, you can run heating, you can run what you need to in that wall. So having the homeowner tell the framer, I don't want that, the framer will say, great, less work for me. You don't want that in there, I won't put that in there. But
going for the industrial look.
Yeah, exactly. And then down the way, the heating guy or the plumber has nowhere to run what they need to, and then the builder's calling the framer back. The framer might charge extra money to come back. You're messing with your timelines because you're pushing your plumber and your HVAC company back to schedule a framer to come back in. So there's cost and time right there from the homeowner just not knowing what was going on and the framer not knowing what was going on with the rest of the build.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So what are some tricks to managing like a very demanding homeowner?
I like very demanding homeowners. I like that they show an interest in what's going on. Like they're spending a lot of money. They're getting one of the largest investments of their life. They should be putting some effort, or not some effort in. They should be putting some interest in to see what's going on. Like if they're going to be living there, if it's their personal home, they should put some interest in. If they're building it as a spec or to flip or sell, I understand less interest, but. I like to see them in there. I like to answer their questions. I like to see where their head's at and what's going on. And just like dealing with anybody else, communication is key. If you're updating the homeowner on what's going on, if they're communicating to you any issues, concerns, questions, can we change this? Can we change this? If you're having those conversations with the homeowner on a regular basis, then you're going to catch this stuff before. You're not going to have to go back. You're not going to have change orders or extra charges. If you want a switch on one wall instead of the other wall, if you tell the electrician before they do any wiring, they're not going to charge you extra, stuff like that. As long as you're having these conversations with the homeowner prior to the stages coming up, that's the trick.
So with that in mind, how would you deal with the homeowner's independent inspections, we'll call them? Brother-in-law inspections.
I love home inspectors. I think they're great. I think more builders should use them for the reason that if I'm building a house, I've been in that house for 4 or 5 months. I've seen that house, and certain things just skip by, and having another set of eyes is a great thing, especially before the homeowner moves in. If I get a list from a home inspector and he's got a few areas of concerns, it's called a pre-occupancy inspection, and it's what you do with the homeowner anyways. And to have an independent, private, professional do it is a great thing, because I can get all of those details dealt with before the homeowner moves in. I don't have to schedule with the homeowner when the drywaller is going to come by. I don't have to move furniture to get to a paint touch-up. Like, we can get it all done. We can have 7 trades in at the same time, all doing their touch-ups.
Right.
In the middle of the night without having to worry about a homeowner. So I think those are great. Independent inspections is a really polite way of saying my brother once framed in the university for a summer 30 years ago, and he watches Home and Garden television like it's going out of style. So he's a professional, and he's going to come in with his inspection. Those are fun to deal with, and it's just a matter of communication. This is what we do. This is why we do it. This is the building code in this industry. This is what we spec. I know you saw this down in California, but your house will freeze if we do it this way. One of the common ones is, I saw that everyone uses spray foam. How come we're not using spray foam throughout the entire house? So, well, that's a great question, and we went through this at the start, which you should have gone through all the different specs with your homeowner at the start. Do you want to spend an extra $40,000 spray foaming? And they'll go, yeah, maybe we're good with the with bad insulation or the bibs.
Just think of this, the savings in heating costs.
Yeah, exactly. And
that you'll recoup in 30 years.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions that arise from that, or from independent inspections.
Sure.
And one of the common things is, this is how we used to do it 30 years ago. And I'm like, well, the building industry has changed, and it's changed for the better. Yeah, we don't do things that we used to 30 years ago, but if you talk to people in the renovation industry, if they've ever seen any horror stories of homes built 30 years ago, you better clear your calendar. Like, the renovation people see stuff that was built 30 years ago. This is how we used to do it back in the day. Oh, and it's just horrible. So, with new technology, with new codes, we've changed how we build things for the better, I believe. So that's why we're not doing it how we did it 30 years ago.
Well, one thing that was explained to me, or that was drilled into us about the electrical code when I was in school, was the reason that the code changes is because it either costs somebody their life or costs property damage. And the reason that building codes change is because of those two things. They're usually written in blood or money, or both.
Yeah.
So, the reason we do things differently is because we got better.
Yeah, we got better. There's new technology out. There's new products out that are better. Like, we don't build 2x4 exterior walls in Edmonton.
Why?
Because people don't want to spend thousands of dollars a month to heat their house, you know. Certain energy codes and stuff like that are in there to try and make the home building industry better.
Awesome. Now, Andrew, do you allow homeowners to do some of the work themselves or hire their own trades to do parts of the work?
I do, but I treat them as a trade. They're not getting preferential treatment because, you know, I have a roofer who's building a house. If you're a roofer who's building a house, I'm treating you like I treat my roofer. You better have WCB, you better have liability insurance. I want to check some references of jobs you've done because you know what, I'm the one warrantying this house. I'm the one doing it. And I don't allow homeowners to do piecework. I like to build on a timeline. I like to keep things scheduled, so I'm not letting you do this on the weekends. I'm not allowing you to take a job that should be done in 2 or 3 days and spread it out over 2 months. I don't feel that that's a great way to build. You know, I haven't had a homeowner suggest that they do that over a long extended period of time, but I've had, you know, we've had homeowners want to do siding themselves, do framing themselves, cribbing themselves, and they say, you know what, these are the standards that we work to, and this is what the rest of our trades are expecting, and this is the standard that I expect you to hit. And it's usually, they usually look at it as a great way. If, you know, if this is the standard that I'm holding them to, then this is the standard I'm holding everyone else to, and you know what, at the end of the day, they're getting a great product. So.
And that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, Andrew, thanks so much. This has been very informative, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. All right, we'll see you next time.